Hey, Cavs fans, welcome to another episode of the Cavs Pick and Roll Podcast, the podcast for diehard Cavs fans. Alex, the Cavs are now 6-0. They just finished beating the Orlando Magic. I don't even think I have to ask how you're doing, but how much fun are you having watching the start of this Cavs season?
Oh man, it's been awesome. It's been what I hear coined the term "cavalanche." It's been a cavalanche. Yeah,
uh,
they're rolling through everybody right now. It's been great.
it's really fun to watch. And in the history of us doing this podcast together, which I think on the last episode we called out, this will be our fifth year doing this. I don't know if it's necessarily the fifth season, but it's the fifth year doing this. I can't remember the Cavs having a better start in the time of us doing this podcast together. So it's been really fun. It's very early in the year. It's hard not to get overexcited, but it's also hard not to be overexcited, if you know what I mean right now. The Cavs are just red hot right now. One of the only two teams that are undefeated in the NBA. And if Oklahoma played tonight and they lost, the Cavs would be the only team undefeated in
They're
the
the
NBA.
they're the
And
only undefeated team in the East.
yeah, and who would have predicted that? So um, just you couldn't have asked for a better start. And Alex, they just finished against the Orlando Magic. Of course, the Cavs faced the last time they faced the Orlando Magic was in the playoffs last year, 7-game series. So a little bit of history there. But this game was pretty fun. Home game, Friday night game, and Cavs were up big most of this game. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see their young superstar who just got injured the night prior, Banchero, who I know you're a big fan of, and was kind of looking forward to seeing play tonight.
He's fun to watch. I wouldn't say I'm a big fan. He's got a long way to go. There's a lot of potential there.
Alex is
But
buying his jersey
he
for Christmas. He's gonna get it for a
The
Christmas
Paolo
gift.
Banchero jersey?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I need a new Magic jersey, gotta replace that Anthony Hardaway jersey.
You can get a Drew Gooden or a Sean Kemp Orlando Magic jersey. Come on, some former Cavs players that played for the Magic. But yeah, he was out tonight. But Jalen Suggs kind of was the only reason why they were able to kind of hang around. He was kind of a one man show, and then you have the ever popular Wagner brothers.
Oh, man, I can't stand the Wagner brothers, man. Oh, Lord.
Yeah,
They're both so tough and scrappy and
they
just
are.
obnoxious.
They're the type of players that you hate until they're on your team. You would love them if you're on your team because of exactly what you said. They're scrappy. They have some size. They could do some things. But yeah, when they're not on your team, you hate their guts. They're like Draymond Green style, right? Like you don't like Draymond Green, right? You don't like the Wagner brothers, but the Cavs, man, this team to me, Alex, and I want to get your opinion on this. They just look so different than what we've been seeing under JB
They
the
do.
last 4 years or so now. They look almost like a team keeps coming to mind to me. I think of like the run and gun Phoenix Sun teams in the early 2000s with Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire, and they're just man, they just come down the floor and they're jacking something up within the first 10 seconds,
Yeah,
and it's
I
it's
think
weird to watch.
it's exactly that, right? Like, they're running and gunning constantly, it's up and down the court, it's high-paced basketball, it's, the inbound quick, get it down the court, and they're already looking to score. They're looking to take that open three right off the bat if they can. And you got D Wade in there, you got Mobley, you got Allen, you got all these bigs ready to rebound. Get the putback. It's hard to beat them. They've got a formula that works. Hiring Kenny Atkinson as the coach to replace JB is it's already paying off dividends, and you can see that in the offense.
Absolutely. And Atkinson said over the summer that they're going to unleash a new offense. And we've definitely have seen that. Tonight they jacked up 39 3-pointers, the Cavs. They made 15 for 38%. But man, it's just great to see them being aggressive, and they're hitting a lot of threes over the course of these 6 games, which is what's allowing them to really blow these teams out. All their wins have, for the most part, been by double digits. And I don't know if you saw, Alex, they're one of the highest scoring teams in the league right now. I think I heard tonight before tonight's game, they're averaging 125 points per game. Like just a couple games back, they were leading the league at 130 points per game. Like who you never would have thought that because we're just so used to what we've been seeing for the last couple of years, from an offensive standpoint under JB. So it is refreshing. It is fun. And so far, it is working in this very young NBA season.
Yeah, they're just maximizing possessions. They get the ball, they get it up quickly, get the shot off quickly, they get the ball back quickly. They play awesome defense. They've just been great on both ends of the court under Kenny Atkinson. It's just been so much fun to watch. That offense it just seems so free flowing when you watch them play. Guys cutting towards you'll see a guy cut down the lane with the ball, pass the ball off to
Yep.
another cutting guy that goes down the lane. The guy that cut down the lane under the hoop will go to one of the short corners, either left or right, and they'll rotate. And as the guy drives down the lane, he pulls that defender in and passes the ball to the guy that just cut and is at the short corner. You see him run that play all the time, and it's always leaving somebody open at the 3-point line.
Yeah. Yeah. And you got,
Maybe I should shut up, but
no, no,
that
no,
seems to
no,
be
no,
like
no,
their jam. They're hitting
it's,
threes all the
and it's
time
really
now.
101 basketball when you think about it, right? Especially in today's day and age. It's just, again, it's refreshing to see the Cavs play a modernized offense, in the NBA, because again, it doesn't feel like we've been doing that. And when you have Sam Merrill, when you have Darius Garland or Mitchell waiting there, or even Levert to catch it out on the wing, Levert's usually one of the guys driving and kicking it out. But you know what I mean? The Cavs have a lot of weapons as far as 3-point shooters. And even Evan Mobley is being more aggressive in general overall, but also with his 3-point shot. And he's knocking some of them down as well. So, I mean, these other teams just got to be so frustrated after playing the Cavs and just getting beat up in so many different ways, not only from the 3-point line, but then we just talked about Mobley. You got Allen down there. The two of them together is a handful. You got guys like Levert and Mitchell who can get to the rim at ease and create havoc that way as far as drawing fouls or creating those wide open opportunities for other players. This team just has so many offensive weapons, and it's something that we really always saw. We just, in years past, health was a concern. The style of offense we were playing, those two things together just really didn't allow this team to be unleashed like they have been so far this season under Kenny Atkinson.
Yeah, that's one of the things that you heard Kenny Atkinson say at the beginning of the season, and you'll hear John Michael say it. He says it seems like he says it every game I've watched, every broadcast, but that Kenny Atkinson wants to celebrate the roster. He wants to go deep, and he's been playing 10, 11 guys every game. So it's great to see all these guys getting minutes, see them getting worked in and getting to play. And that's gonna really pay off as the season goes along, when you're getting a lot of especially at the pace they're playing. I hope they can keep up at this
Yeah,
pace all season,
right.
and not run anybody down. You don't want injuries. That's what's been killing us the past few seasons. But
No,
when you're playing this many guys like on the roster, it'll help keep some of your starters a little more fresher as the season goes on, and you know it's great. It's just
absolutely.
great to see.
I love it, and I think last year we were both proponents of that, and was one of the frustrations with the rotations last year, playing 7, 8 guys in a playoff game and just gassing them, playing them all 35 plus minutes in a game, when you have other players that could have potentially contributed. Now, health issues, kind of limits your confidence in players, and right now we're healthy, so it's easy to play 10 guys, 11 guys on these early NBA games. But I'm with you. If the Cavs can find a way to continue to play 10 every night, like you said, that's going to pay off, because wear and tear will come. The NBA season is a long NBA season, and you want your guys healthy come playoff times. You still need to win games throughout the season, and you can have fun doing it like they're doing it so far. But if you could play 9, 10, 11 guys on most nights, man, yeah, it's going to pay huge dividends down the road.
And they're mostly healthy, right? We've got a couple guys out injured. Struce hasn't played a game yet.
Right.
Craig Porter Jr. hasn't played. I think the last two, maybe. I think two.
Yeah.
But boy, did they get those
Tyson was
two
out.
guys back? Yeah,
Yeah.
Tyson was out this
Tyson
past
was out.
game. He's been getting minutes even as a rookie, so that's
Yeah.
great to see. Lots
Yeah.
of potential. When he's in the game, he plays great. He's always making the right move. He's a good decision maker when he's got the ball. That's really what you want to see from these young guys, because
Yeah,
everything else will eventually slow down for them. And then
exactly,
and he's a great
exactly.
shooter. Yeah, I mean he was hitting threes left and right. Was that the Toronto game? Both the
It's one of the
Toronto
it
game
was one of
and
the
the
earlier games.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's been really fun. I mean, it's really hard to complain about anybody on the roster right now. And that makes it easy when the Cavs are winning, of course, right? Once some losses come underneath, the critique will come out a little bit more. But right now, man, it's just having a bunch of fun watching this team. And let's kind of quickly just talk about this game tonight, real quick. Again, the Cavs just beat the Orlando Magic in Cleveland. I just want to throw out some quick stats at you. Darius Garland, who also has been having a great start to the season, I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about him, finishes the night with a team high for the Cavs with 25 points in 22, in 29 minutes. And Mitchell finishes with 22 in 22 minutes. So that's kind of key in these last couple games. There's a trend that's been happening where your star players aren't playing star minutes. They're playing under 30 minutes or right around the 30-minute mark. Evan Mobley was the high guy out of the core four. He played a total of 30 minutes. Allen with 28 minutes. And the Cavs win this game by double digits, pretty easily. They were in control of this game for most of it. And that's what you want to see, right? You want to see your starters be rewarded by playing hard the first, three quarters or so, and then getting that fourth quarter off or a portion of that. So it allows them to stay fresh, especially on a night where they have a back to back. They play the Milwaukee Bucks tomorrow, probably the day this episode comes out. So giving them that extra time back is great. And the Cavs were, their star players were all efficient tonight. Allen didn't have the best night scoring wise, but he did, have 10 rebounds, was playing defense. Evan Mobley finished with 14 and 9. And again, Karis LeVert has been huge as well off the bench, finishes with 13 points, 6 assists, and 3 rebounds. Kind of doing a little bit of everything out there tonight, Alex.
Yeah, everybody's just been playing so great, Corey. I don't know what to say. It's just been so much fun.
It's like
Dare I say even Niang has been playing well.
I was going to bring that up. First and foremost, I got to give props where props are due. He's looking a little slimmer this year, Alex. He's looking a
I
little
That's what
bit
I
slimmer.
said. Remember, I
You
said that
did.
in preseason, and you were like, "Oh no, he's still got dad body." It's like you can tell that he slimmed
Yeah.
down. He's been
Yeah.
working out. Like
He's made a
he
couple
almost like an NBA player.
he's made some dare I say sneaky moves as a result, as far as his drives to the rim or getting around defenders. And he's hitting some shots, he's hitting 3-pointers and stuff. So he's another weapon out there as well. And Niang isn't afraid at times to get scrappy with it as well. And he's a veteran big that's been in the league for a little while. And, I know we've poked fun at him basically since he's been on the roster. I know he's still not your number one, as far as, being a fan favorite of him and everything. But Niang has had a solid start to the season so far. So another thing I wanted to talk about before we kind of go back a game or two here, because we definitely want to talk about this Lakers game and LeBron and Bronny coming into town and all that. You mentioned health a little while ago, and you mentioned Max Strus being out. We all know that Max Strus is going to be out for at least the first 6 weeks of the season, which is a blow, obviously, right? But right now, the Cavs are making it work without him. And when we recorded last time, it wasn't officially announced yet who was kind of going to be, starting in his place. And of course, it's been Dean Wade. I wanted to get your thoughts on Dean Wade being moved to the starting lineup. I'll give you my quick thought. It reminds me a little bit, not quite, because he's not as good as him, but it reminds me a little bit of the Allen Mobley Marketing starting lineup, because Allen is 6'10", so he brings some much bigger than Strus, right? Strus has got to be what, 6'4" at most. So bringing in Dean Wade brings more size to that starting lineup, allows him to defend a lot of different positions. And I can't think of many teams in the NBA that can come with that size in their starting lineup and that agility and athleticism between those three players. So I like it so far. But what are your thoughts on Dean Wade being moved to the starting lineup with Strus out?
Yeah, yeah, I like it. Like you said, the size that he brings, and he's such a good shooter too. He can shoot the three, so if you leave him open, he can draw. You know, he's such a big. He matches up against the other team's bigs,
Yeah.
and he can draw them out to the perimeter, and it opens up the lane for our guys to cut and dish. And you see Levert doing a lot of that. You see Levert doing a lot of just driving, dishing. He's racking up assists all
Yep.
over the place because yeah, that lane's wide open for him to create, and that's what he's great at. He's the best at. You know, JB had him playing point guard quite a bit last season,
Yep.
and I think him being off ball with Donovan and Garland mostly playing point, it really helps Levert to be in a position where he doesn't feel like he has to have the ball to affect the game. He can just catch, drive, create, or catch and shoot, and it's been working great.
Yeah, definitely. And Dean has his moments, right? Like in this game, he played 24 minutes, only 5 points, but he's kind of an under the radar player still in the league. He's not a household name, right? So I don't know how hard he gets scouted by other teams, but he is very capable of knocking down that 3 point shot and can get to the rim and do a lot of various things to where I think he is still just very much under the radar. And when he's on and doing things offensively, that's definitely going to help the Cavs, as it most likely will catch opposing teams' defense off guard.
Yeah, you
Um,
you you asked me about Dean Wade, and I talked all about Levert, but
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's all right. It's all
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah, Dean Wade. Yeah, I mean, what more could you want for somebody just stepping into a starting spot like that and filling in for Max Strus? I think Dean Wade's been filling it up and taking advantage of every minute that they've given him. So
Yeah,
I think it's been a great move.
yeah, yeah. It's worked out well so far, and it'll be interesting to see when Max comes back. You know, how does that rotation happen? But we're a long ways away from that. We're only 6 games in, so Dean will have that spot at least until then, and then Atkinson will have to figure it out from then. Alex, one other quick thing I forgot before we pivot off the Magic game and we go into the Lakers game. I forgot to call out the obviously the best thing of that was winning the game, but the second kind of most exciting thing that happened, at least in my mind, was Luke Travers made his NBA debut tonight in this game. With about 4 minutes left, both teams cleared their benches. You had mentioned Porter Jr. wasn't dressed, Tyson wasn't dressed, Strus is out, so on and so forth. So Travers was dressed for the game, and it was funny because I was texting with one of my friends throughout the whole game, and we were both at the start of the fourth quarter. We're like, Travers is dressed. We want to see him play because they kind of showed him in one of the backgrounds or whatever. And sure enough, with 4 minutes left, he came into the game. And within the first 10 seconds of the game, he had a rebound and already drew a foul, made his first 2 points of his career. And Alex, he finished with a stat line of 4 points. I'm sorry, hang on here. In 4 minutes, he finished with 4 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block. He was just
Nice.
everywhere, and it was just awesome to watch.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, big fan of Luke, man, and he's just man, he just has that look. And I had posted out on social media a week or two back. He's finally in NBA 2K. He's finally got his first minutes in the NBA, and rooting for Luke and hoping to see more of him at various times throughout the season. Hopefully, in scenarios like this where the Cavs are blowing out teams and he's just in there having fun in some garbage time. But it's gonna be interesting to see where his what his development looks like and what he could potentially come into as far as a NBA player.
For sure. I'd love to see him succeed. He's
Yeah.
a great story.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. So it's always a story whenever LeBron comes home and comes back to Cleveland to play in front of this fan base. And Alex, he said it himself after the game. He doesn't know how many more visits he's going to have here. So he had mentioned it's special every time he comes here. But this time was a little bit more unique because obviously this is the first time where both LeBron and Bronny James played a game together in Cleveland, which obviously was going to be the biggest headline of this game going into it and all that stuff. And, I get it. There's a large portion of the fan base that just, they don't want to hear anything when it comes to LeBron anymore. I get it. but at the same time, you have to admit that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
They didn't play together, unfortunately.
right.
Bronny didn't get into the last couple minutes of the game. And did you hear the Cavs fans chanting,
Oh
"We want
yeah, yeah.
Bronny"? Yeah, that was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
we want Bronny. Yeah, that was great. They were so loud, you could hear
Oh
it on
yeah,
TV. Like,
it was great,
wow.
and he finally got in. Again, garbage
Yeah,
time, and ended up
5 minutes.
scoring his first NBA points in Cleveland. The Cavs went crazy for that as well, and just a cool moment.
You got they played a LeBron and Bronny tribute video for him.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how
I
did
didn't
you
like
feel about
that.
that?
I didn't really like that. I wanted to ask you about it. It was only like a minute long, and it's just like at first I was like, okay, I get it. I mean, the Cavs are always going to want to pay their dues to most likely their best player ever in franchise history. Like, there's probably never going to be somebody better to put on the wine and gold than what LeBron was. So I get it. You want to pay homage, right? But it's just like, I don't know. I don't know. I get it, but I wasn't too crazy about it. Like, I'd be fine with them not doing another one until it's his last time here, to be honest with you, which might be next season for all we know.
Yeah, but
You know, at
geez,
that
I could.
point, at that point, give him a 2 minute, 3 minute long video, sure, but like that was kind of short and kind of I don't know, it's kind of pointless to be honest with you.
It was hard not to notice just how old LeBron looked up
Yeah,
running up and down that court. He looks like old man LeBron out there, boy. You
yeah,
know, just bald, and
but
he just
I
looks 20 years older than everybody else on the court. It's pretty incredible that he can even keep up with all those young guys. You know,
I want to
he's
say,
only like 2 years or yeah, 2 years younger than me, I think, but still, that's amazing,
yeah, he'll be 40 in 2025, right?
right?
40 in 2025,
Oh,
right?
he'll be 40 this December.
This December. Okay, I
I
couldn't
think
remember.
so.
I couldn't remember. I knew his birthday. I thought it was right after the New Year, but maybe it's right at the end. Maybe you're right of the year. So yeah, I mean, he's an old man. I could have swore I saw that he just recorded. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but I thought he just recorded a triple double in one of these first couple games. And
Yeah, he
uh,
did.
yeah, so I mean, at hey, not too shabby for an old guy. Not many players are getting triple doubles these days in the NBA. So it is one of those things where, yeah, you don't know how many more times he's going to be here. And he's always wanting to put on a show whenever he comes back. And you know what I was looking to do, Alex, before the start of that game is beat him, because it always bothered me how often we still seem to lose to LeBron every time he came back to Cleveland. So the fact that we smashed the Lakers that
He
game, like
smoked him.
it was done after halfway through the second, like
Oh,
it was
yeah.
done. It was
Y-
such like
Yeah.
a defeating loss for them. Even Anthony Davis he just said, like, we just played god awful. Like, that was just embarrassing,
Well,
basically.
they both just seemed to get so frustrated just
Yep.
within the first quarter. Like right off the bat, you could tell they were both just like pissed off and defeated and making stupid fouls and turning the ball over repeatedly and just weren't taking care of the ball and couldn't make a basket. And you could tell that they thought fouls weren't going their way. And yeah,
Yep.
they were just getting it, they play a slow game, and the Cavs are playing such an up tempo game
Yep.
that it was just such a big mismatch that they couldn't keep up with the speed the Cavs were playing at. That's what it
No,
was.
no, and on top of it, I mean, things were clicking for the Cavs. So, I mean, Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, these between the two of them finished with 45 points, and that's just those two players. Jared Allen went beast mode, 20 points, 17 rebounds. I don't care. I'm going to say it. I'm going to make the argument that the value that he brings along with the contract that he's on, he might be the best center in the NBA. Like, I get there's Jokic out there and stuff like that. I get Embiid's out there who hasn't even played a game yet this year. Those guys are making 50, 60 million a year. Jared Allen's making 20 million a year and putting up, double, crazy stats basically on a nightly basis. So from a value standpoint and what you're paying him, he might just very well be the best center in the league based on what you're paying him and what he's giving you back.
Yeah.
Those two alone just killed the Lakers. And then you have Mitchell dropping in 24. Garland drops in 16. Then you have some other players, pitching in as well. And the Lakers just had no answer for the Cavs on the defensive end.
Totally. Allen's just been killing everybody, man.
Yeah.
Man, and he's had some awesome dunks already in these first 5 games where he does the Statue of Liberty dunk,
Yeah.
one handed, just thumps it. I love that. I love it
He's
when he
so
does
fun to
that.
watch. He's so
Yeah.
fun to watch. And you know who else has been really fun and also played really well in this game that we got to talk about is Ty Jerome. So Ty Jerome played 16 minutes in this game, finished with 14 points, dished out 4 assists, grabbed a couple rebounds. So, last year, Ty Jerome gets injured the second game of the season and misses the whole season. Ended up becoming the butt of jokes by many Cavs fans, even us at various times. We're like, you got to be kidding me. Like, does Ty Jerome even exist anymore? Like, we made our comments throughout the year as well. But boy, am I glad the Cavs stuck with Ty Jerome and didn't cut bait with him last year over the season because, man, I am growing into a huge Ty Jerome fan. He just does so many things well, and he reminds me a lot of what Rubio used to bring, or at least that first year where he basically comes in, runs that second unit, and can also score. He's crafty. He plays defense. In this Magic game tonight, he had 2 back-to-back steals. One led to a wide open 3-pointer. The place went crazy after that. He's just out there doing a little bit of everything, and he's so hard to read because everybody in the league today wants to go 100 miles an hour, right? They either want to jack up a 3 or they want to dunk over you. That's it. Like there's no in between. To where Jerome, a lot like Rubio, has that kind of slower game, that crafty post up guard game to where the defender doesn't know how to react to that. He just takes his time and he just waits for the defender to fall for a ball fake and he just steps through and makes a little floater layup like it's nothing. Or if the defender is still there and the other defender, is coming down for a double team or whatever, he makes the right play every time. So Ty Jerome has been fantastic to watch. And even though this Cavs team didn't make any roster changes, having Ty Jerome on this team feels like the roster change because we didn't have him last year, and he's been fantastic this year so far.
Yeah, I don't know if I quite give him the Ricky Rubio
He's been
comparison yet.
fantastic this year.
He has been fantastic, but you know what? I see a little bit more of Deladova in him instead of Ricky
Oh
Rubio.
no,
I think
no,
he's
no,
got a
no.
little bit more of that toughness and scrappiness
He does. He is tough.
that Deladova had in Ricky Rubio, where Ricky Rubio was a little more crafty, a little smoother. Ty Jerome's still a little rougher, I think. Ty Jerome has been playing great. He shoots the ball great. I love that he does when he drives. He does the teardrop
Yeah.
down the lane. Then he'll hit that. He's got that Tony Parker
Yep.
impersonation down, and I love that because that's almost an unstoppable shot when you get that going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Ty
Exactly.
Jerome's been great. I wish we had him last season.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And it's tough too because if you did have him last season, Craig Porter Jr. never gets the opportunity he did. You never know that Craig Porter Jr. is kind of now waiting in the wings. Unfortunately for Porter Jr., Ty Jerome is going to make it pretty hard for him to see consistent minutes, right? But it's just funny how things work out. And again, I'm glad that the Cavs stuck with Ty Jerome because he's been great running that second unit and really a great addition to this team. It kind of helps make up for the loss of having not having Max Strus right now and so on and so forth, because he can also play off the ball a little bit as well. Could be out there with the Garland. He could be out there with the Mitchell or a Levert or so on and so forth. He doesn't necessarily always have to have the ball in his hand to make an impact.
When Strus comes back, who are we not going to see on the court?
I think you're not going to see Isaac Okoro right now. I think would be the odd man out.
Wow.
So Isaac Okoro actually had a pretty decent game offensively tonight. He had a couple 3-pointers. That the first 3-pointer was very timely. The Magic were starting to creep back to like within 11 or 12 or so. He also made a timely layup, a tough layup. Probably could have got an and one on that. But I think, with this team, there's so many offensive weapons right now. It's hard to pick somebody to sit. And Okoro is a great defender. young, athletic, can keep up with both most players in the league. But when Strus comes back, and if everybody else is still healthy, Okoro might be the odd man out. It's probably
It,
between Okoro and Merrill. And I know Atkinson likes Merrill a lot, and Merrill can come in and just start shooting and hitting. And
yeah,
in today's NBA and in this offense that he's trying to run, you're always going to go with the guy that's going to score, in my opinion.
right. Yeah, that's tough. I think you'll see Merrill lose some minutes. You'll see Niang lose some minutes. You'll
Probably
see
Niang too.
Okoro lose some
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah.
Jalen Tyson,
Yep.
I mean, they got to fit Struce in there. So I think
Absolutely.
yeah, it could just vary night to night.
And not that we want to see this obviously, but what does the roster look like at that point health wise? Like I'd be the happiest Cavs fan on earth if the Cavs were still like completely healthy like they are now basically by the time Strus comes back. But if somebody's down or a guy or two's down, it kind of makes it easier, right? Because Strus is now just filling in for what the minutes that player was playing before they sat. And you're always going to have to shuffle things around throughout different periods of the year as injuries happen and players return from those injuries and so on and so forth. It's a good problem to have, but it's a problem we don't have to worry about for quite a while. Right now, it's just fun watching this team just coming out on all cylinders. And like I said, putting up almost 100, 120, 130 every night. Never would have predicted that for this
Yeah,
Cavs team.
this team is so deep. That's just how deep this team is. It's incredible that we're fighting over minutes for these guys.
Yeah.
That's such like you said. It's just such a great problem to have.
Yeah.
And Kenny Atkinson wants to celebrate the roster. It's just so deep. This team's going to be so much fun all season.
Yeah, definitely. So the Lakers game, we kind of talked about that. The Lakers really had no answer, and that game was handled pretty quickly. Probably the closest game of the season, though, so far, Alex, was the game against the Knicks. This game, out of the 6 games we played so far, is the one to me that has felt the most different in the sense that the Cavs weren't always in control of this game. This wasn't a always fast-paced run and gun high scoring game. This game very much so, at least to me, had a playoff feel to it. This game was in New York, and there's a little bit of history between these two games or these two teams. And the Cavs eke out a win, but they only won by 6 points. Their only
Hmm.
single digit win of the season so far, I believe. So, what was your thoughts on this Knicks game?
I mean, I think the score makes it seem like it was closer than it was. It was a close first quarter. But we still led it. We just kind of laid an egg in that second quarter. I don't quite remember what happened, what the rotation was, who was on the court, but they
Mm-hmm.
just couldn't get anything going in the second quarter. They fell way behind, and then they kind of caught their stride again in the third quarter, and then just dominated in the
In the
fourth quarter.
fourth, yeah,
So it really wasn't. The score makes it seem a lot closer than it was. I was a little worried after they went into the halftime and they were down by, I can't remember how many points they were down by, but you could tell that they were just struggling against the Knicks. And I wondered what the answer would be. I don't know what Kenny said at halftime, and just historically being a Cavs fan, like coming
yeah,
out of the halftime and into the third quarter, it always seems like the Cavs are always anemic and just terrible in the third quarter. So I was like, oh, here we go. But that JB Cavs team, and this is Kenny Atkinson's Cavs team. So
that's right. And I'm
yeah,
and I'm with you because you know we're not going to go into probably any more games beyond this one because they're just too far back. But the first 3 games of the season were against lesser opponents: the Raptors, Detroit, and I think who was the other one?
Wizards.
Wizards. So not the cream of the crop, right? Like the Cavs should have been 3-0 after that. But then, you're looking at the schedule and you see the Knicks, the Lakers, which again, anytime LeBron, he always wants to put on a show. And then you have the Magic, young up and coming team, and then the Bucks back to back. And it's like, man, this is going to be tough. This is going to be a true test for the Cavs. So for the Cavs to get this victory over the Knicks, I thought was huge because it kind of solidified a little bit of what we saw those first 3 games. And then on top of it, to smash LeBron and the Lakers, to beat the Magic, and we'll see what they do against the Bucks here over the next couple of days. It's like, man, this team feels like it's for real. And this Knicks game was the start of that for me. And we've been giving a lot of players props so far, and I got to give props to Darius Garland because he had a heck of a game this game. 34 points in the Garden in this game. He was just doing a little bit of everything, but man, he was hitting, he was firing, and he was hitting. Finishes with 34 points. And I just think about, Alex, where we were last season with Darius Garland, where we were in the off season. Same with Allen. Like, a large portion of the Cavs fan base was ready to part with both these guys, and both these guys have had excellent starts to the season. And got to give props to DG right now.
Yep, he's playing great. He came in the preseason and said that he talked about kind of redemption really
Yeah.
this season and how fired up he was and how excited he was to get back out on the court. And he's proved it. He's come out on fire. He brings a whole lot of energy. He's nailing the three.
Yes.
He looks so comfortable shooting the three. Yeah, loving it.
Yeah, he just looks confident, and he's not hesitating. He's not thinking about it. He's jacking up the shot. If it doesn't go, it's on to the next play. He's not giving up when he gets beaten defensively. He actually he had a really nice block on Brunson at one point in this game, and he had a couple steals as well, and he's just giving it his all. He's just out there playing basketball, and it's been great to watch. And, I think every Cavs fan would agree this is the version of DG you want to see. And hopefully he can keep it up. And if he does, all those conversations that we heard for so long, can Mitchell and DG play together? Did the Cavs make a mistake giving him that contract? Should the Cavs part ways with DG and all that stuff? Is he a top tier point guard in this league? If he continues to play like this, that all that goes out the window, right? All of those rumors and all of that kind of criticism goes away pretty quickly. So happy to see it and hope he can keep up with that.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty early in the season to say,
Sure.
hey, look, they've won 6 games in a row.
Right.
It's working, but uh, so far it is, and
Yeah.
and they're
It's,
playing great together, and I hope they continue. And Kenny Atkinson's system is working so far.
it's,
What
it's
else?
just, it's so weird. It's like a weird feeling almost, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
like you see all these big social media accounts like on a night like Hoop Central and all these like they're tweeting out all the stats after the game, and they're tweeting out that the Cavs are still undefeated and they're for real, and just the hype is building early on in the season, so it's hard not to get excited, especially with being a Cleveland sports fan. We've been let down more often than not. So you
yeah,
just said it a couple minutes ago at halftime at that Knicks game, you were nervous because you're used to the third quarter, egg and so on and so forth. So it's hard for us to reprogram ourselves, but it's also very fun right now, and it's just enjoyable basketball to watch. And DG and Ty Jerome and Mitchell and Levert, even Levert, again, we've talked about Levert many times over the course of his time with us. Is he was brought here to be the sixth man basically, but he's had to play starter minutes, and then it doesn't always work, and now you're asking him to do too much. And so far he's playing in the position that he's meant to play, and he looks great so far. Will probably be a candidate for sixth man of the year if he can upkeep this and the team continues to play like they do. So just everything is clicking right now, and it's just very fun basketball to watch.
yeah. Like you said, it's great to see like so much positive headlines around the Cavs because we're just not used to it.
No, we're not.
It's Cleveland, and I
We're
was
not.
listening to NBA radio. I think it was on the First Take show, but all they ever talk about is the Knicks, the Celtics, the Lakers. It's pretty rare that they ever mention the Cavs, but they did do a little blurb on the Cavs after they played the Knicks, and they said this Cavs team is legit. This Cavs team is for real, and it's just great to hear that because We never get to hear that, right?
No,
That's
no,
cool.
and on top of it, you know, your core four is all locked up contract wise. So there's not some drama of, yeah, they're playing great, but Darius Garland is a free agent this year, or Donovan Mitchell has an opt out option at the end of the year. Like, all that noise is not there this year, and it makes it harder for the media to generate that noise and kind of false rumors when the Cavs are playing good. Last year it was very easy for there always to be kind of negativity around this team because they weren't meeting expectations, and Mitchell of course had the opportunity to not sign an extension like he did this year. And when you have someone at his caliber of a player in the league, it just creates drama, right? So that's all noise that, it's harder to bring up this year unless the Cavs completely do a 180 or something like that, and really struggle for a long period of the season.
Hmm.
But as long as they can, play good basketball, stay healthy, their players, their rosters locked in, their core is locked in here for several more years, and that's very exciting as a Cavs fan to see that as well.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So I
so
was just gonna say,
yeah,
it doesn't fail though when it's starting to get close to the trade deadline.
sure.
So who is that player on the Cavs that is gonna be? Who do you think could be the one that everybody's talking about? Oh, the Cavs are gonna try to make a move and trade this player. Who is it
Yeah,
gonna be working?
it's very early in the season, and I know in my prediction last episode I had mentioned Levert as potentially being that trade chip piece because I said if the Cavs feel like they're one piece away and they're going to go all in, you got to trade some value to get value back. You can't. I'm sorry, love Sam. You're not going to trade Sam Merrill and get that athletic young backup big that's just going to come in and wreck the NBA. It's just not going to happen. Sam doesn't have enough value to warrant that, right? Um, it will depend, but Isaac Okoro could become that guy. And we talked about that when he made his contract extension, is that he's young enough, he's on a friendly enough contract that a team can see him as a piece. Some teams having a fire sale, and we're getting way ahead of ourselves here, but Isaac Okoro could potentially be that young defensive 3-and-D guy that some other team has interest in, to where he's falling out of the rotation because Strus is back, because Tyson is taking off, because Levert is still balling, and DG and Mitchell are still working out, and Sam's
All
hitting
right,
three
Corey. All right,
pointers.
I shouldn't have asked this question.
You know what I mean? Like, so I
Yeah.
mean, it's going to really depend, but Okoro could potentially be that. And that's also why I'm glad they brought him back and didn't just let him walk for nothing, basically, because he
Yeah.
could potentially be an asset down the road.
Speaking of that prediction episode we just did last
Yeah, you
week,
want to make you can't make no
I shot
adjustments,
way
but
too low on the record. I'm feeling like I shot pretty low on the
yeah,
record now.
you weren't
I'll
even
tell
in
you
the
that.
50s. You were like at 48 or something like
Yeah, I think
that.
I did say 48 because I
Yeah,
just thought new coach. It'll take some time to adapt. Woo! They're
there's a
coming
lot
out
of
of the gate
basketball left.
fast. They're
There's a lot
coming
of
out fast.
basketball. There's a lot of
There is.
basketball left.
There is a lot. A whole lot.
What about? I want to get your thoughts, and you're probably going to be glowing, but we haven't really talked too much about Evan Mobley too much yet. But that was another big thing that we were kind of waiting to see, because all we heard off season was Atkinson is going to unleash Evan Mobley, and what are you seeing or what are you liking out of Evan Mobley so far this season?
Yeah. You know, that's all. That's all they talked about in the preseason was how Evan Mobley. They were going to run the offense through Evan Mobley, and I wouldn't say they've been running the offense through Evan Mobley, but I will say Evan Mobley has been way more aggressive. He's always looking to score quick. He's looking to shoot it every time he gets the ball. You can tell he's been working on his footwork,
Yeah,
not just on the offensive end, where he's spinning his way to the hoop and nobody can stop him because he's got crazy wingspan. So once he bodies that defender and does a spin move, he's within a foot of the hoop and he's rolling it in or dunking it. But even on the defensive end, like he was making Karl Anthony Towns look like a chump. He was shutting down Anthony Davis
yep.
because he was sticking right along with them. They could not get around him. It's awesome. I love the improvement I've seen from Mobley. He's stronger. He's not getting pushed around under the hoop like he was. You can tell he put on some muscle. He's shooting the three a lot. He had what three? He shot the ball three pointers against Orlando tonight, and
Yep.
he's just been shooting the three very well. So I like to see that because it keeps the defense honest. Keeps their big men out of the paint and on the perimeter. So yeah, Evan Mobley, I love it. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, no, pretty much the same, and this is what we've been waiting for, and it's not like he's coming in and, dropping 25 and 15 every night or anything like that. I mean, that's going to be probably unrealistic when you have someone like a Donovan Mitchell on your team and you have other players that are capable of going off and having big offensive scoring nights like Garland has a couple times. Levert is also very capable to give you, 15, 20 points on any given night. But I'm with you. I like that Mobley is no longer hesitating when he gets the ball. He is looking to make a move in an aggressive fashion within a second or two of getting the ball. And with him being so versatile, it does. It keeps the defense honest, like you said. And he'll probably never be a lethal 3-point shooter, but the capability that with him being able to knock one down every once in a while, with him being able to beat most bigs with his first dribble to the rim and then put them in a bad position to at least draw a foul, if not an and one. And then on top of, him being able to post up and, like you said, his footwork and his spin moves and the wingspan and all that stuff. So yeah, he's a handful and he's still very young. I think he can put on even more weight yet and become even stronger as he continues his NBA career. And I think he is going to turn into, one of the future stars of the NBA.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? If you watch any team, every NBA game, everybody runs the high pick and roll these days. You'll see the center come out, stand on the 3-point line. They pass him the ball. He holds the ball. He passes it to the point guard. He's already there setting the pick, and then he'll roll with the point guard to the hoop. But with Mobley, he can come out to that top of the arc and catch the ball, pass it to the point guard, turn around, the point guard pass it right back to him, and he can shoot that three. So
Yep.
dude's a triple threat. I mean,
Yep.
he's keeping those defenses honest, and he's doing something that you're not seeing a lot of other teams be able to do with their big men.
Right, and then throw Allen in the mix. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's a hand. Again, there's not many teams, if any, in the NBA that can deal with both a Mobley and an Allen. And we'll see again as the course of the season goes on, because that was also another one of those kind of negativity comments that was constantly around the Cavs. You basically have two bigs that can't shoot, right? Because Allen can, or not Allen, Mobley could always shoot a mid range. And again, he's not a 3-point shooter, I wouldn't say, but that was always one of the question marks around this team. You got two guards, can they play together? They're both small, and you got two bigs they're both big and can't shoot it. But with Mobley being so all over the place, it really doesn't clog the lineup as much as what people seem to think. You know what I mean? And Allen's doing the same thing. He's coming out setting picks, and he'll go up and get an alley oop and dunk it on the guy or whatever. And they're doing a good job, I think, of staying out of each other's way. And then with rotations, you can always sub one out and one's in there, plays the center. That's when you bring in the Niang or whoever you want to play, your backup, power forward position. And it's worked out really well so far. And Mobley definitely, it seems like he put in work this off season and is definitely evolving. This is a different version of Evan Mobley compared to seasons past. It's what we need to see, man. It's what we need
It
to see.
is.
So far, everything that we needed to happen is happening. Just got to get Struce back and get him into the mix, and this team's going to be even more dangerous when that happens as well.
Yeah, yeah. Just need Travers to evolve into Larry Bird, and we are good to
Yeah,
go.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
Needs to grow the stash out just a little more. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
great.
So I think really the last thing is kind of just looking a little bit ahead, Alex. The Cavs got the Bucks the next two games Saturday night. So it's always a fun weekend when the Cavs play like a Friday night or a Saturday night, right? Because it's just weekend basketball, so it's just fun to watch. They're going to Milwaukee tonight after the Magic game ended. They're flying to Milwaukee, and then they come back to Cleveland on Monday to play the Bucks. So it's kind of one of those weird. They play the same team back to back, but one's home and one's away. And I don't know if you've been paying attention to the standings at all, but so far the Bucks have been struggling. They're only 1-4 so far this season. And how awesome would it be if the Cavs just somehow won both those games and just put the Bucks fan base just into 911 jumping off the top of the hill, kind of just. Could you imagine if the Cavs started 1-6? Like the fan base would be going nuts right now, and the Bucks are kind of on the verge of that. It's not the start that they want to have, right?
Mhm.
They'll figure it out, I'm sure. But it'd be great if the Cavs can kind of take advantage while they have had a little bit of a rough start of the season. And I don't know what's going on out there. I believe both Giannis. I know Giannis is healthy. I'm pretty sure Lillard is playing. So not sure if they have some other injuries going on that's impacting their roster right now. But you want to take advantage of those teams. The Bucks are going to be hungry. They know they need to get a win. They need to start to get back on the right side of things, and the Cavs have to
Right.
find a way to not be that team that
Yeah.
allows that to happen.
Yeah, this Bucks game is going to be tough, especially since it's, the second night of a
Back to
back-to-back
back. Yep.
and they're on the road, so they're driving to
Yep.
Milwaukee right now probably.
And the Bucks
Uh,
didn't play tonight either, so they're
yeah,
waiting
the
for
Bucks
you.
are
So
rested, they're
it's
hungry. Yeah.
it's going to be a tough game, but can you just imagine like the statement that would make if the Cavs went in there and won that game on the road, second night of a back to back, and then they just come back to Cleveland. The Bucks are even more defeated. The drama's starting, and the Cavs just smash them at home in front of a rocking Cleveland fan base. Man, oh man, that'll be quite something if that happens. We'll see. But either way, man, it's been a fun start to the season for the Cavs, and it's just been a fun ride so far, Alex.
It's been great. And it's very early. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Yeah, definitely. So with that, Alex, let's go ahead and wrap up this episode of the Cavs Pick and Roll podcast. I want to thank you, Cavs fans, as always, for tuning in and listening. And AP, let them know where they can listen to us, follow us, and connect with us.
Follow us on Twitter. I'm still refusing to call it X, at Cavs Pick and Roll. Shoot us an email, cavspickandroll@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr. Watch this episode on YouTube. Click like, subscribe, leave us a rating or review. We'd appreciate it.
All right, Cavs fans, there it is. We will talk to you again soon.
Peace out, Cavs fans.